Hi, I'm Thomas, the AxidentalDM, and today we have quite a haul to kind of take a look at. Now, I do freely admit this was definitely kind of one of those impulse purchases. I was on Free League's website. I'm kind of a fan of Vossen, and so I've kind of been playing their game, and then kind of the group that I play with was interested in playing Tales from the Loop, which follows the same kind of basic system that is in Vossen. And so I thought, okay, yeah, all right, I would go online to see if I can get a copy of maybe just a short set of the rules. And then when I saw there was actually a very good deal, I thought, on getting kind of almost a complete collection. There was, I don't forget, it was either the Out of Time book or the Our Friends, the Machines, and Other Mysteries. I forget which are both kind of scenario books that wasn't part of this kind of all-encompassing deal. But I had to go do it. And so let's just take a quick look then at kind of Tales from the Loop, and also Things from the Flood is also in this list. So this was kind of a complete kind of package deal type of thing that I had. So let's take a little bit of a look. So there was, might as well start, I guess. Let's move these out of the way just for a quick second. There was then the kind of the starter set, and which, you know, it kind of gets the basic kind of things going. We've got then kind of the set of dice. Now, it's a D6s. Again, these really dice are for flavor more than anything, because any D6s will work. There's nothing particularly special about these. Silica gel, who needs that? 2020 games catalog, that's last year, but that's okay. Kind of a nice little map of the loop. Now, this is the one for... Yeah, okay, so in Stockholm, and then on the other side, of course, is Boulder City. I believe I have another copy of this as well. And then one of the nice things about with any kind of starter sets, there's some kind of sets up of pre-gens that are in here, as well as, okay, so the Recycled Boy. So this would be the kind of included scenario, and then the rules set here for kind of how to play the game. So this is kind of for everyone, and then this one would be specifically then for the game master themselves. So yeah, whether these are kind of stripped down versions or not, I'm not sure. I'd have to spend a little bit more time with it to kind of really be able to kind of tell that. But anyway, so that is very, very brief, quick look at the starter set, anyway, of Tales from the Loop. So let me put this all kind of back together, and then we can kind of jump into the other books. It'll probably be a little bit shorter with all of these because we're going through so many, and there'll probably also be a lot smaller look then at these two things, the scenarios that are included. But let's go ahead and take a look then at both of the two core rule books. Now, as I understand it, the primary difference between these two, both following kind of the same basic kind of rule set and how they're set up, the difference is this is kind of the players, the PCs are more kind of middle school, and here they're more high school. This one, as I understand things in the Flood, is a lot kind of darker in tone. Potential for death happening more frequently than in Tales from the Loop, but essentially then it's kind of the same game. A lot of the themes are very similar, but just kind of that more of a darker tone. So let's just kind of jump through real quick. Let's take a look at the table of contents, as we are wont to do. It's interesting. It's kind of to me, it feels a little bit like newsprint. I do like the layout of the table of contents kind of going in this kind of vertical direction, kind of going over 2 pages. So we've got the Welcome to the Loop, the Age of the Loop. So this is kind of the background scenario of the U.S. Loop, because you kind of play in 2 different places. I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but the U.S. kind of connection in the city of Boulder was part of a stretch goal then of the original Kickstarter. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's nice that it's kind of included in here, kind of giving another scenario. And when I played this game, personally, as someone who's not all that familiar with kind of the Nordic countries, having then the U.S. Era kind of helped a lot then with kind of getting me into the game. Not that I'm, wanting to say, I don't want to do it in the kind of the Scandinavian countries. It's just, it felt a little bit, I could feel more nostalgic. I could really get into the characters when I did actually play Tales from the Loop, because that's a little bit more of what I'm familiar with. And not having read all of this and gotten the backstory of how the 80s that never was in this particular scenario, in this particular game, this universe, it really kind of helped me out. So kids, I'm assuming then this is how we kind of set things up in terms of your player characters. Trouble, suffering conditions, dice roll, items, and pride. Okay, so how the game then works. And then the mystery, I'm assuming this is kind of how, for game masters, how to kind of build things out. Yeah, phase 1, introducing. Phase 2, introducing the mystery, solving the mystery, showdown, aftermath, change, etc. Okay, great. And it continues on to another page. So the mystery landscape, the school library, dream shop, 4 seasons of mad science, backgrounds, the kids in the campaign, summer break, and killer birds. Are these all the truth of the mystery? At least 9, 10, 11, and 12, at least the way that they're kind of laid out. And based upon chapter 6, it almost looks like we're getting 4 scenarios then to kind of be able to play out then in the core rulebook, which, if that's true, that is, I think, kind of really, really awesome, because normally we expect, 1 scenario, but here being able to have potentially 4. Let's just take a little peek real quick and see if 161 is that's actually what it is. Again, I never do want to kind of spoil anything, but things come to a dramatic climax when Lena's plan finally falls into place. Can robots dream, think, and feel? And almost maybe then it's kind of a little bit of a campaign kind of going out. I don't know. That's just pure speculation on my part. Great kind of art that's in here, kind of how things are being explained. Okay. So this is, very kind of nice setup, like the feel of the book. But anyway, let's jump out of Tales from the Loop and let's kind of graduate up into high school, I think, and take a quick look then at things from the Flood. So kind of jumping in. Paper feels just a little bit different. No, it doesn't. It feels the same. Kind of very similar layout then in how things are going out. Life after the Flood. Okay, so it's definitely then kind of a successor then, how that's working. The Loop in a New Time. So this is the alternate 90s, whereas Tales from the Loop's the 80s, so 90s. And so I think it makes sense that we're going from, even though it's a bit of a skip of a decade, kind of the middle school to high school by moving it up a decade. The Hoover Dam disaster. The teens, so how to play again, trouble, suffering conditions, or how to create characters, how to play, how to set up your mystery. So it looks like then, if you just wanted to play things from the Flood, kind of that 90s nostalgia, then you wouldn't need this book. So I think everything you need would then specifically be in each of the editions for what you're looking for. Then we go to the mystery landscape, Prophets of Pandora. Okay, I might take a quick look at that because it doesn't look like it's a scenario itself, but 9, 10, 11, 12, once again, it looks like we've got 4 more scenarios to kind of take a look at. So let's just jump to page 131 real quick and see what is located in there. 3 scientists with bold ambitions journey through time and space, a secret worth killing over. In these 4 mysteries, the teens will face their greatest challenges ever. Okay, so it's definitely then kind of setting up then. There's kind of an intro chapter before you get into the full campaign that's there. So really, really cool. And I like then you get 4 scenarios to play out in here, plus 4 scenarios in the Tales from the Loop book. In a lot of ways, that almost kind of pays for itself in terms of, when you're buying kind of scenario books, how that's working out. Once again, kind of that art, very nice, kind of, I think, kind of helping us get into the scene, into the scenario, getting into the world of what we're living in and developing. Even you can tell very easily from the art, this is a lot darker in color. So if I go back, let's just grab a picture out of here. Some of it, okay. They both kind of have that kind of a darker kind of look to it overall, but I don't know, there's something about these images, I think, that kind of give it that kind of grittier kind of nature then that I think this book is kind of going after. Okay, so that's Tales from the Flood, that's Things from the Flood. So before we get into these 2 scenario books, and again, I'm never wanting to kind of give any spoilers about any scenarios. And so we'll just kind of take a look briefly at these. Before we get to those, let's, again, we've got then these kind of maps. This one looks very similar to the one that we saw in the kind of the starter kit. So that's kind of not necessarily anything new. Here, though, this one looks a little bit different. See, we've got Malaran Islands. On this side, so kind of an evacuation zone, sector M35. It's interesting. I mean, it's got this kind of, to me, this kind of has a little bit more of a quote-unquote military layout on it. Then we have on the back side, oops, it's upside down, we'll flip it over. And this is just then the Boulder side, the Loop, the project, Boulder City over here, the main reactors, the cool towers, etc. Okay. Very cool, very cool. Then what else do we get? Oh yeah, the 2 Game Master screens that came with both of these as well. So this one would be for Tales from the Loop. So we kind of open it up to get to take a look at the art. It's a 3-paneler here. little darker than I would necessarily want, not in terms of subject matter, but just kind of the color tones are a bit dark for my particular taste. But then when we look, what do we have inside? It's going to be helpful for GMs. Types of scenes, locations, clues, all right, things for kind of how to set things up like that. Conditions, recovery, how to roll dice, adjusting the roll pushes and using your pride. Okay, a lot of rule summaries in here. Attribution and skills. Again, this is one of the things I like about GM screens is don't give me art, give me stuff that I need. Art, again, this side, not this side, but excellent. I think great for. I haven't run any of Tales from the Loop or Things from the Flood yet myself. I've just kind of played in a couple of games, but that's the kind of stuff I like to see. Let's see. On this one, we have the cover art is. I like this piece of art here with some of the machines from the universe here. Kind of one of the PCs kind of looking out and kind of seeing then kind of the distraught kind of situations going on. So I understand from the in-world universe is the machines are beginning the process of kind of breaking down for whatever reason. So I think this really kind of captures that whole kind of idea. What do we see then on the GM side? It looks like a lot of similarities. I'll just take a kind of a quick look. We'll just look at this very first panel side by side to see what we have here. No, there are some differences. Well, wait a second. Making a mystery. Oh, they just kind of rearranged it just a little bit. But it looks like we have some of the same stuff on here. Types of scenes, team problems. That's different. Reaching a location. So things about location. Mystery clues. So clues here saying farewell. Team may use her aftermath scene to leave, but if she died or disappeared suddenly, aftermath scene becomes a shared group scene. Which we don't have. Okay, so there are some differences very much then in them, probably based upon some game mechanics that might be a little bit different between the two various versions. But again, excellent. I like that a lot. And these are just kind of the back covers of those. What does it say? The deluxe Game Master screen for Things from the Flood role-playing game is made out of 3 sections, 3 mil thick hardback measuring a mighty 8 blah, blah, blah. The outside features beautiful full-color artwork by Simon Stalenhag, and the inside contains charts and tables for easy reference during play. So it's the same person that does the art as well for both Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood, which very, very cool. Okay, now. Again, making these things not spoilery at all. I don't want to do any of that. We have the Tales from the Loop, Our Friends the Machines. I think this is the one that came with the kind of bundle that I bought, and this was the add-on that I had. So let's just take a look then. Tales from the Loop, real quick. Kind of then map on the inside cover. Okay, and then layout then. All right, so we have Our Friends the Machines, Horror Movie Mayhem, The Mummy and the Fist, Mixtape of Mysteries, Machine Blueprints, and How Home Toe Hack. Ooh, that's a bit of a tongue twister, at least for me. But anyway, so we've got 6 different kind of scenarios that are going on there. I wonder if it's set up, because it does have an introduction, if it's set up then as a kind of a whole campaign for us. Toys suddenly develop intelligence, a mystical mummy roaming the beaches, weird events in local video store, mixtape full of mysteries, 4 wondrous machines, a guide to creating your own setting for the game. All this and more in this volume intended for use with Tales from the Loop RPG. Enjoy. All right, and then we have some little synopsis of each of these. Friends of the Machine, the first mystery of the book, the kids will experience the botch. Okay, we're going to stop there. I've played that particular one, and so I do know it's starting to get a little bit of spoilers there, so we won't go into that. But let's just kind of take a look, see if there's kind of any art for us to kind of take a look at in here. Very kind of 80s there, so that's really cool. Beautiful. These almost look a little bit like kind of warthogs over here. Okay, awesome. Is there any other cool art that we can kind of take a look at real quick? Okay, here's another nice piece of art. So some more of the machines that we see with some lampposts on them. At least it looks like that to me. Another kind of piece. Machine blueprints. The machines are part of our everyday life, always working. In the background, they make our life comfortable. Television, the telephone, the computer have revolutionized modern life in a tangible way. But it's easy to forget that society is also dependent on innovations such as the self-balancing machine, also called robot, and magnetron technology. Without these fantastic machines, we would all be poor. Okay, machine blueprint. That's kind of an interesting kind of idea. I mean, I don't know if that's kind of the whole intent of this, but it does kind of bring back kind of that overall kind of structure of a man versus machine, people versus machines. what roles then that we still have despite all the conveniences, how much then should we have? And I have no idea if that goes into the scenario here, but that's just kind of what made me think, just looking at this little brief synopsis then of this particular one. So that is Our Friends the Machines and Other Mysteries. And let's just then take a quick look then at Out of Time. And given the name of it, I'm wondering if we're going to be dealing with some time machine elements here. Again, kind of in the inside cover, a nice map of the loop. Okay, and again, we're getting 6 different, I'm guessing we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. Out of Time, the trilogy, In the Shadow of the Cooling Tower, Boulder City Time Paradox. That doesn't sound like a scenario, so we can maybe take a look at that. But we have the Animal Ark, Summer Camp, the Storm and Hourglass, Secret Places, the Mystery Machine, and Mixed CD of Mysteries. Interesting, because we had one about mixtapes previously. Now we get one about CDs, kind of moving that clock forward. But I think this one is built for Tales from the Loop and not Things from the Flood. But anyway, there are rumors of a mechanical contraption that roams around the fields outside the small community of the Malaran Islands. At the same time, flyers asking for information on lost pets are increasing on the bulletin board outside the grocery store. On TV, the weatherman speaks of random storm gusts. And hasn't there... when things start changing, when things get strange, it's always then where you're going to have some issues. Okay, so Out of Time, this book invites you into mysteries involving time travel. In this adventure trilogy, the characters land in the middle of an intrigue that takes them through time and space, whose actual origins are revealed in the final mystery where everything links together. Very cool. So it is a full kind of campaign kind of being laid out then in this book. Really, really nice to have an opportunity for something like this. Even if you don't run the scenarios, I like to make up a lot of my own scenarios, but having some of these guides really kind of helps to be able to kind of pull different things in your own stuff. But sometimes it's great having these things too. A lot of people run campaigns. I've enjoyed being in campaigns that are run strictly out of books as well. So they're nice to have as well. Part 1, The Animal Ark. In the trilogy's first mystery, something as common as lost pets. Summer break is finally here in summer camp, and the children are sent to summer camp, but playing and swimming quickly turns to heart-racing terror and confusion when the children wake up in a completely different summer. Okay, yeah, so we're getting a lot of those changes happening kind of right away. So chapter 2, I assume this is kind of the setup then of it. There are rumors around the graviton could tame space and time, teleportation, time travel, secret experiments deep down the mountains. But except for the wild story that Magnus in 6B was trying to sell about his heroism in some American desert town, it never became anything more than rumors. There were naturally those who believed that the short guest performance of the dinosaurs in the shadow of the cooling towers was clear proof, but we all had heard of the state experiments with genes and stuff. Lisa had read about Occam's razor, something about the simplest explanation being the most likely, and after that, portals felt quite unlikely. Adventure Trilogy, The Secret of the Chronography, allows the character to solve 3 mysteries that all weave together in a story of how time and space become unbalanced and risk breaking reality. Okay, so that's kind of the premise. It is a time travel book. Okay, so these are the 2 scenarios and campaign then specifically for Tales from the Loop. We had an opportunity to then take a look then at the kind of the Game Master screens for both of those. A couple little maps, of course, and then the 2 kind of core rule books, kind of the 80s that never was, middle school kids, and the 90s that never were with kind of the high school kids. So anyway, I'm looking forward to kind of playing more of this. I've only had kind of I've only played 1 game with this, loved it a lot, looking to kind of get into more of this. But anyway, if you have any thoughts on Things from the Flood or Tales from the Loop, please share those with us. And if you have any questions about this or have any ideas about or questions about the game mechanics and how those things work, it's a simple kind of D6 kind of system. Put those down in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy what I do, please subscribe, share this with other people, because as I like to say, the more we kind of share and work with one another and kind of learn from one another, the better the tabletop role-playing games are going to be. So until next time, thanks for watching.